Hello? Hello? Is anybody there? You guys out there? Hello? If you're out there, could you guys put like hello in the chat or something? Because I can't see if there's anybody here or not. So I thought I would just see if you're there. Hello? If not, no big deal. Sorry. Something is up with my nose. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Go ADHD GO. My name's Johnny, and on this channel, of course, we give you the tips and tricks to help make life suck less. And this is the second live stream we're doing. We did one a couple days ago on Tuesday, I do believe, where we just talked about all kinds of just random things. Some to do with ADHD, some not to do with ADHD. But hopefully from here on out, pretty much all live streams will be based around all types of things related to ADHD. Of course, as I say that, I know that it is going to go off on a tangent somewhere where it's not going to be ADHD related, but what do you expect? It's an ADHD channel. Do you expect it to stick on ADHD with an ADHD host who has a brain that apparently on an ADHD scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 255 according to my one psychologist. So I guess that's a good sign, where 10 being the absolute madness ADHD. I was 255. So yeah, I pretty much won, I guess you could say. So, oh, Patrick, there you are. Hello, Finland. I'm sitting here in the northern Kentucky. I don't know what it's like where you're at, but I am anxiously awaiting snow. It snowed here just a little bit ago, like barely, but we are supposed to get a monstrous snowstorm coming through the state of Kentucky, and it's just to the south. And all it has to do is literally just barely shift, and we'll get hammered with snow, and I can't wait. Hey, I do know you. I'm glad you found Karen's channel. It's she has a different perspective on ADHD stuff. It's coming from, by treating your body and your mind, with health and exercise and eating healthy, you can help with your ADHD. And I can definitely attest that eating more healthy and exercise definitely helps my ADHD. I haven't been able to do my elliptical for a while because something has finally got to the house here. We'll just call it Baba Ganoush. A lot of people have had the Baba Ganoush all over. So many people had Baba Ganoush that I kind of like telling people, if you got eating Baba Ganoush, you need to stay home. Finally entered our household. So one of us definitely has Baba Ganoush, and I think I do too, even though I haven't been officially tested for Baba Ganoush, if you know what I'm talking about. So I haven't been able to exercise in a few days, and mentally, I can definitely tell something's not up. Philip Blair, Eastern Washington State. I've never been to Washington. I would love to go there sometime, though. You see pictures online, and it's such a beautiful state, just unbelievable. I got to go there sometime. I need to go to all 50 states at some point instead of like the 4 that I've been in. Patrick has the Baba Ganoush too. Yeah, I don't. Luckily, my son had some Baba Ganoush, and he got it from a friend who was eating Baba Ganoush. And even though he was really safe not to get any on him, he still did. And luckily, his symptoms not bad. Mine, I don't have any like real symptoms besides feeling weird. That's all I can explain. Mentally, very odd. To the point where I don't remember much of this week. I keep getting confused what day it is, which is normal for me anyways, not know what day it is. But I'm talking not remembering days and doing things and then not remembering. I took a shower, washed my hair, then went to rinse the soap out, and it was already out. I don't remember rinsing it out. So like just weird stuff like that. So not fun, but at least I'm not getting all the terrible things that come from Baba Ganoush. So yeah, but hopefully today we'll try to jump on the elliptical and go to town. Oh yeah, I couldn't imagine, like, Patrick, when you're saying it's the foggy and lower energy levels. I think people in the countries like that, I couldn't imagine living where it's really foggy and gloomy and gray all the time. Yeah, because sunlight is very important, not only for like ADHD people, but just for anybody. Getting the vitamin D, just getting out in the sunlight's always good for your body. Washington State is Patrick or Philip. I keep calling you Patrick. In Washington, is it one of those places that is gloomy and rainy all the time where you're at, or is it more of a part of the state that's very sunny and beautiful? Or are you up in? I think Washington's got the mountains where it gets like 90 feet of snow in a day. I don't know. I would love to be somewhere like that where you get that much snow in a day. I have a friend who lives in Colorado, and where she lives, and when you watch the weather report, they give the numbers like it'll be like 3. That's feet of snow. Like they don't even do it in inches. It's either a foot, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 feet of snow. It's like, why would you live there? But then when I see it, I'm like, I'd like to live there when it's that much snow. Sunny on the east side of Washington. Awesome. Yeah, that's like the east side is I guess I'm terrible with things that are mountains where they're at, but I guess on the other side of the mountains, are there mountains there? Sorry, I didn't know I had ADHD in school, so I don't remember a lot from school. Yeah, very important. My country is the leader of antidepressant use in the world. I couldn't see that anywhere where there's not a lot of sun, Patrick. I just thought the sun was, when it was bright outside, just made you feel better. So that was a good reason to go outside. But, the whole vitamin D thing, the more I've learned about that, the importance of that on for your health, and especially with Baba Ganoush, vitamin D ended up being a huge player for a lot of people. Don't really hear much talk about that. Yeah, if you research on yourself, very fascinating. Very, very fascinating. Philip said the Cascade Mountains cut the state in half. That's what I thought. But I'm not really good with geography or anything, but I'm always looking at the weather app to find out where the most snow is. And all I know is up in Washington, there's like one area where it's, when you scan over it, it'll say 6 inches, 7 inches, and then it'll just go like 72.5. And I figured that's probably a mountain. Like that's probably not in a downwards flat a little bit. But yeah, I'm excited for the snow here because one thing I really love about snow I've noticed is that if it snows a lot, like here, if it snows 6 or 7 inches of snow, it takes a while for them to plow the streets. It gets incredibly quiet here. And it's a really interesting. I mean, it's not loud where I live anyways, but there's a certain silence outside that's beautiful. And there's no cars, there's no noise, there's no people, and you can hear the snow hitting the windows and stuff. And I love that. It's one of the most calming things for me. Like my brain shuts off when that happens, and I can just sit there and look out the window and hear that. It's absolutely wonderful. Matt Irvin says, I'm on vitamin D supplements. It dropped dangerously low for an unknown reason, so doc prescribed it. Yeah, I've never took vitamin D. I'd heard people say, good, do you take vitamin D? I was like, no. But I didn't really think about it. But then when the Baba Ganoush started going around, I heard some doctors talking about it, and our chiropractor said, you should take vitamin D because they're starting to hear good things about this. So I took it. And then once I took it and I mentioned it to people, I know people have like immune like deficiencies that say, oh yeah, I've been prescribed vitamin D forever because of that. It's supposed to really help with keeping things away, all sorts of things. So now I've been taking 6,000 IUs every day for pretty much ever since the Baba Ganoush started. Everybody became a big fan of the Baba Ganoush. And that's when I started taking it. And it's been like two or 3 years, whatever it is. And I can tell I feel much better physically. I haven't gotten sick in 3 years from like the flu or anything. So that's good. So I think it works. Patrick takes vitamin D too. Yeah, it's one of those things you take it. I don't think you don't feel any physical effects, but like, ooh, it makes you feel weird or whatever. But it's just, the more you read about it, you're like, yeah, this is a good thing to do. And then people will say, well, I'll go outside and get my vitamin D. That'll help with my vitamin D dosage. But then it depends on where you live. And the farther north of the equator you live, you don't get enough. And it's crazy. So taking vitamin D supplements, I highly suggest it. Can't hurt you. But yeah, it's definitely, I definitely noticed physically wise that I have felt a lot better than I have in a long time. So yeah, the snow. That's what we started talking. We started talking about Karen Broda's channel, and somehow we got here because that's what we do. But yeah, Patrick, Karen Broda, and everybody else, Karen Broda's channel. I saw Patrick commenting on one of her videos today, and we talked about her last time and her terrifying, freakish circus stuff that she does. And that's the reason she's not going to join our live chat right now, because she's circusing, as she says. She does like trapeze and these silks where she hangs way up in the air and does these flips. It's insane. But sure, yeah, her channel is about nutrition and exercise and how it helps with your ADHD. And I know she's a life coach for nutrition and all kinds of stuff and ADHD related physical fitness. And it's really a cool channel. It's aimed more towards women, but there's a lot of benefits in her stuff. So it's for anybody, really. So be sure to check out her channel. It's like, I'll put a link in the description below. Actually, anything that we talk about in here, which I don't know what's going to be right now, I got a rough idea. I'll put all the links in the description below for the replay. The last video I did that also, if you go back, there's a ton of them in there. So basically anything we talked about, it's going to be in there. And none of them are affiliate links except for, at this time, one, which is my Zero Shoes one. We talked about those the last time. I showed them my blue shoes that I love, minimal shoes. That's an affiliate link. I don't really use it much, but that's the only one as of right now. Philip Blair, yes, trapeze. She does a trapeze thing. I've actually, if you go on my Instagram, every once in a while, she'll put something crazy on there, and I'll just kind of clip it and put it in there. And yeah, she's learning. It's nuts. Like I said, it's scary. When I watch these videos of her, especially on the silks, which are like these two, looks like silk fabric things that hang down, and you see people, like, she climbs up them and does flips and all this stuff, and it's cool looking. But then when you realize how high up she is, 20, 30 feet or whatever it is, 15, it's scary. Like up in my lofty office here where I do a lot of my video editing and stuff, it's only like 12 feet up, and I look over the side and realize it's like twice as high as what she is, and she's not hooked to anything, cables. She's just tied up in these silks flipping around, and it's bonkers. But she said what's great about it is she said it really helps with her ADHD, which is really cool, because I assume you really have to focus hard on not dying. That's pretty much what she's doing. But I know a couple other people who do the silks also I've seen online that have ADHD, and they said the same thing. They did it because it helps with their ADHD. It wouldn't help with me not ruining my pants. That's all I'm saying, because it just looks so scary. But it's Karen. She's awesome. She knows what she's doing. Yeah, very cool. I just want to say, I don't know how I pronounce your name. Is it Ivo or Evo Kramer Lind? I just want to say I love your videos. Keep the good work going. Thank you so much. If you only knew how long it took me to get this channel going, and for me to get to a place where I was happy with what things look like and all that stuff, it's embarrassing. 4 years from when I started thinking about doing a channel to when it actually happened. So, backgrounds. Going my last video, I talked about how I had a studio in every part of my house, and then I get it like, oh, I like this. I would change it up. But where I got it now, in my little black studio, right now, I'm not actually in the studio. It's over that way. I'm in front of some black curtains, but the simple light behind me and my one spotlight ended up being, the great look, and the way they present the information. Hopefully it's coming off as something different, and that's what people like. I don't come straight forward with things. When people ask about, or I do a video about, well, like last video I did, the ADHD ghosts, I talked about in the last live stream also, it was all about how you're losing things and blaming them on ghosts or taking them because you don't forget where you put them and stuff. Like, I like to come at videos from a different angle. Now, if I came just straightforward, like, here's how to not lose things, I could churn videos out constantly. But as soon as I come up with an idea for a video, my brain has to go off in this weird creative route and go, what if we do this? And then I can't let that go. So hopefully people are enjoying it because it's something different. See what else is going on there. Vaulting on horseback looks fun too. Yeah, you know what? I saw a vaulting on, is it where they ride and they're like standing up and doing crazy stuff? And it was like a really old video from like the 20s. And this girl was just bonkers doing that. And anything like that, I think that involves so much thinking with your brain, you're trying not to die. It's got to be therapeutic. It's got to be helpful. And then keeps your brain from thinking about a bajillion other things, because it's like, if we slip, we're dead. That's a good thing. Matt Irvin, doc prescribed 20,000 UI for 2 months and dropped to 800. What's weird is I've heard I'm like a big dude. Like it doesn't maybe look it from here down, or from here up, but from here down, there's a reason I hide behind a desk and stuff because I'm a chunky. But for my weight and stuff, they said it's 6,000 or 7,000 is probably like the max. If you want higher than that, it could be bad. There's been people who have gone, really high on the IU dosage and almost died, I guess. So, but that was way, way huge numbers. But yeah, if your doctor's saying 20,000 IU, probably there's definitely a reason why he did that. Must have something going on there that he knew very important to get that vitamin D up. Vitamin D's taken it since 2012, Patrick says. Yeah. I wish I would have taken it earlier. I probably wouldn't have gotten, sick whenever I did. So Philip Blair, trapeze at the circus. It's not a real circus like that comes to your town. She lives in Canada, and it's a place, I can't remember what it's called, but they do like performances there. They kind of train to do trapeze and like the silks and who knows what else. But she does trapeze. She's learning that. She's still on the wires and stuff, but still, it's so scary looking. I couldn't do that. She's a different bird. I'll say that. Like that takes a lot of guts to be able to do. And then, but when you see her, watch her videos, she's so just caring that you wouldn't expect that that's the person doing this crazy stuff. Like it's pretty cool. Don't worry about pronouncing your names. I'm used to 3 different ways. Yeah, it's I'm terrible with names anyway, but I'll probably remember yours forever because it's different. That's how I am with it. If it's a normal name, I'm never going to remember that. At the start, very cool. I just want to say I love. Okay, we're done. How many people are in here now? I'm not seeing the number. It's supposed to have a number, but I don't say it. Oh, there it is. 3. I have a little list over here on my to read from, and because I keep things flowing. There's nothing worse when you get on a live stream and it's somebody like trying to think of stuff to say. So I want to keep this flowing constantly because I know my audience. You pause and start doing what? They're gone. They're off in mentally somewhere else. What do I use for streaming? StreamYard or something else? I found this app by accident. Actually, not by accident. I kind of searched. It's called Camo, and it's for iOS and Mac. And it's just on my computer and my phone. And I literally just plug my iPhone into my computer and then my mic into the computer and open up this thing. And it allows me to adjust the ISO and the all the little settings. Because if I don't use that, then I have to use my camera on my computer, which is on my M1 MacBook Air, which, by the way, if you ever need a new computer, lordy, this is the most amazing computer I've ever experienced in my entire life. But anyways, the webcams on computers are never good, but the camera on my iPhone XR is pretty good. So it allows me to use the camera from my phone into my computer, and I can adjust the ISO and everything without it getting all wonky. Because you use a webcam on the computer, you can't really control things. So as I'm moving around and doing stuff, the lighting changes. I can't get it to where I want it to be. For example, right now, the way my lighting's set up, if I have it on my normal webcam setting, the background is all lit up. I'm way bright. It's not good. I like a certain look. Can't tell. Like I want to keep it very consistent from live streams to my normal videos as much as I can because I'm a designer. That's my profession, and I can't let it go. Like I've got to make it look good for some reason. I know it doesn't matter to the people watching, but to me, my brain won't let it go. I have to do that. Let me see. Yeah, do you use something for? Oh, just did that one. Phil Bass said, it takes a lot of practice. I bet muscle memory tips. Yeah, I've got to be muscle memory tips to do anything crazy like that. I've asked her, like, how do you not die? And she said, well, when you're in the silks, like you don't really notice it, but it's done in a way where if you slip, it kind of stops you. It's wrapped a certain way. But still, it's that high up, it's got to be scary. Patrick loves my lighting. Yeah, I love my lighting too. It's interesting that I'm never happy with anything that I do. I am for a while, and then I get tired of it. But when I came up with this and was able to learn how to adjust camera settings and the lights and stuff, I ended up liking it way more than I thought I would. And of course, I do want a lot of stuff in the background. I thought about doing that, but what I notice on ADHD videos is anytime I watch any ADHD video, live stream, anything, there's stuff in the background, I'm looking at it. I'm trying to read it, see what it is, what's going on back there, and realize if I just get rid of everything, people hopefully just focus on what's being said and less distraction. What else is going on? Wow, cool. Thanks a lot of practice. I never relied. I'm done. Matt Irvine. I'm awaiting ADHD diagnosis at 42 years old. Last year, I was diagnosed with hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos. I've never heard of that. Ehlers-Danlos. Apparently, there's a link between hypermobility and ADHD. Have you heard about it? No, I've never heard about that. I need to look into it. It might be one of those things where I have heard about it, but I didn't know what it was called. You know, might be called like EDS or something like that. But yeah, I need to look into that. It's definitely interesting. It's kind of, fascinating how many things go along with ADHD when you're diagnosed and they say you have this, and then like, oh wow, and then you have this also. You're ADHD and you're a little bipolar or whatever, and you're like, how? Like, oh, they can go together. That's how it works. It's like that's totally normal. They call them comorbidities, which is the worst word in the entire world. I can't even talk this morning. Let me get a drink. Yeah, comorbidities. Any word with the word morbid in it just sounds terrible. Okay, couldn't they name it something else? Like blood orange. What? Who named the blood orange? Did sell more blood oranges if they didn't call it a blood orange? My Third Man Records mug I have today. Oh, by the way, if you watched my video with all the Harry Potter stuff in it, I can't even remember what it was about. So my brain's not working right now. What did I talk about in that thing? Is it brain dumps? Writing stuff down? I can't remember. But anyways, there's a lot of, you see this mug in that video? It's my tribute to Jack White. Speaking of ADHD things and going off on a tangent, here we go. When you watch that video, it looks like it's about Harry Potter. No, it's all about the man behind Third Man Records, Jack White, who loves everything in threes. Black, yellow, and white are the colors of Third Man Records at the time where things were going on. Now it's like blue. There are 3 things in that video: my mug, a scarf, and a book. All 3 things are black and yellow. My tribute to Jack White, which isn't mentioned anywhere, but it's weird stuff like that that makes making videos fun for me. My little inside joke that nobody knows about except myself. So that's what you're dealing with, people, when you watch my videos. That's the type of mind behind them. Weirdness. And I'm not ashamed. I'm weird and I like it. But yeah, I'm going to look into that more. The hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Very interested to know what that is. I'll probably read it and then be like, oh no, I got that. Like, seems like I do that with anything I learn about it, which is normal. I learned in psychology class that a lot of doctors and nurses and stuff like that, when they're learning about stuff, do that. And there's a name for it. I think they got whatever it is that they're reading about. They're like, oh no, I have that. Which reminds me of a really good joke I saw one time when I did stand-up comedy. A guy did a great joke about, what's it called when you think you have stuff? Why did I start to tell this joke? I can't remember the name. What is it called? When somebody thinks they have everything, that's something wrong with them. Hypochondriac? Is that what it is? Yeah. And the guy did a joke, said, my dad says that he's a hypochondriac. And I don't know what that is, but when he told me, I was like, oh no, I think I have that too. So I think that's just funny. Anyways, tangents. That makes sense. Dopamine plays a major role in the ADHD and in blood. Yes, dopamine does. I need to learn a lot more about dopamine. Everybody talks about it, but I know it has a huge effect on it, but I need to learn more of like the science behind it. Jessica McCabe at How to ADHD does some really good stuff with science stuff, but my videos are not based really, I don't really talk about the science aspect because everybody covers that. But it's one of those things where I definitely need to learn a lot more about, because it's a big thing. For everybody with ADHD talks about it. I just know we lack it. I feel like I have none of it. So definitely got to look into that. Philip says, my brain has ADHD and Asperger's. Yes, Asperger's is something I think that I have also. I've never been diagnosed for it technically, but I've always felt there was something else. And I know somebody with Asperger's who told me, he's like, I think you might have this also. So it's I know now they don't call it Asperger's anymore. They call it something else. But I definitely think that that's something like I could have, but I'm not sure. And by the way, the same person who was talking about the Asperger's, it's an interesting story. Once again, I'll talk about another stand-up comedian, which I've learned a lot from stand-up comedians, like good stuff. He has Asperger's, and he did a joke one time, which I heard, and I was like, "Oh, I get it now. I understand." He said, he was on stage and said, "I have a type of autism called Asperger's, which means if I tell a joke and you laugh, I don't know what you're laughing about." And my brain went, "I get it. That makes sense to me now." And he said that's how he works. It's amazing how the brain is, but something that simple, it worked. Yeah, dopamine is fascinating. I have to read that Parkinson's disease is connected with low dopamine. Oh wow, never heard that either. When I say I haven't heard about it, it's not like I've read everything. I'm like, oh, I've never heard that. I don't really research into stuff a whole ton. I'm usually too busy, listening to weird YouTube videos or whatever. But anytime somebody mentions stuff like that, I always like to read into it and go like, "Ooh," because my brain now is going to be holding on to that and going, "We got to figure out what that is. We got to see what's going on there." It is my favorite comedian is probably Richard Pryor. Yeah, Richard Pryor, man, he was some. I remember being when I was growing up and seeing Richard Pryor when I was 70s or 80s. Too young to be watching Richard Pryor, but even then, you knew something was special about that guy. And he was just, I mean, heck, he was a writer on Blazing Saddles. If that says anything, that's Pryor. It's amazing. Sam Kinison, another great guy, another incredibly funny. While we're talking about comedians, in comedy, I've said in my last video, doing stand-up comedy, if you have ADHD, is like the greatest, gift ever, because you can it's amazing what your brain can come up with. And I had other comedians, I'd do stuff and they're like, how do you come up with so much stuff? Every time you're doing it, it's something different. What's going on? It's like, my brain just goes fast. I just started. Mitch Hedberg is my favorite comedian of all time, ever. I actually have a quadruple tree t-shirt. I still have it. I got it probably right before he died. I got it as a birthday present. Still have it. Love it. Matt Irvin, Eddie Izzard. I just watched Dressed to Kill a couple days ago. So funny. Absolutely. Eddie Izzard is hilarious. And Eddie Izzard, I don't know if you guys know this, is in one of the Oceans movie. You see Eddie Izzard on stage is one person. You see him in a movie, it's always like, oh my gosh, that's Eddie Izzard type of thing. But he not only is a great comedian, but do you know he ran, I forget how many years in a row, he raises money for something going on. My memories, like I said, the Baba Ganoush thing has my brain kind of scrambled. But he was running a marathon a day for 30 straight days. A marathon, 26.5 miles every single day. Unbelievable. That is nuts. But yeah, Eddie Izzard, holy cow! Like, man, the whole Darth Vader canteen bit. Do you have a flag? That bit. I say the cake or death thing all the time. So I know I'm going to say it in some live stream. I only said it last week where somebody said something. They said something about, I can't remember what it was, but I almost said, very well. Give him cake too. I say that a lot. Bob Saget, yeah, he was, Bob Saget was great. Really funny that he became the host of America's Funniest Videos because he was a really, blue comedian, lots of dirty jokes. So when they came to him with that pitch to me, like, we'd like you on America's Funniest Home Videos, I heard the reason he took it is because he was like, oh my gosh, they have no idea who I am. Very, very funny guy. But if you guys are looking for other like great comedians, probably my second favorite comedian of all time is a guy named Jeff Tate. Spells it the same way from Queens, right? So you got to be careful. But if you go on to YouTube after the live stream, look for Jeff Tate Star Wars or Jeff Tate Acid. He's so funny. It's just unbelievable. how funny the guy is. And he ended up being a local guy. First time I ever decided to do comedy, I went and saw John Heffron, and Jeff Tate opened up for him, and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's unbelievable. Then at my very first comedy show that I did, I found out he was local. I actually got to introduce him on this like open mic night, and it was weird getting to introduce like the guy that I think is just the best comedian going right now. He's out there. Andrew Dice Clay, yes, I remember him. I remember watching him on a show. Was it Rodney Dangerfield? Like when he first came out, and we were just like, holy cow, this guy is so different and odd. Like he had the cigarette and he was doing the flick with his like lights it and does all that stuff. I was just rolling on the ground laughing because it was so ridiculous. But yeah, comedy. I actually have a video coming up there's a ton of them coming up. I'm writing so many things that are in progress. It's just whenever my brain goes, we're going to do this one, that I do them. But there's one about comedy and how comedy is a great thing for therapy, really, I think for a lot of people, especially comedians. I mean, I think pretty much every comedian that I know, of course, like they're all local, but you can see it all. I think they all have ADHD, or they have something. There's either depression. There's something in all of them. I haven't met anybody that is normal that's a comedian. There's always something that they're struggling with. I think that they use comedy as a really great way of, it's very therapeutic. Something about it. Eddie Izzard was great as Long John Silver in Treasure Island. I haven't seen that. I got to go back and watch that one. Never seen that one. Not sure how we got stuck on comedy, but yeah, I do. Let me check my list again. So people watching this replay aren't like, I want to go talk about comedians, but hopefully we're making it entertaining talking about comedians because, like I said, yeah, a lot of comedians hide pain. For example, the great Chris Farley. Yeah, it is a way to hide pain. It is a way to get in front of people and talk about very painful things in a way that you make them laugh. I did a lot of bits about ADHD. That got good responses. And at some point, I'll put some of my clips that I've done in stand-up comedy. I got to find them. Nothing's bad. My goal when I did comedy was writing jokes that don't offend anybody. And even if it was a joke that could offend a bunch of people, I was like, how can I write this in a way where even the people that I'm kind of making fun of would laugh at it? And I did that quite a bit. I did some being a Bengals fan, which by the way, who they play today. Playing the Raiders, can't wait. 4:30 playoffs, first time in a long time. But by default, you can't like the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I did a whole bunch of Pittsburgh Steelers jokes and just ripping them to shreds in a really odd way. And after the show, a guy came up to me and said, I'm a huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And I was rolling at those jokes because you can't get mad when they're that creative and witty. And so when I did comedy, I said, don't want to offend. It's like, how can I make people I'm kind of poking fun at, make it seem like I'm not poking fun at them. And if I am, make them laugh and enjoy it. So I've been watching hours and hours of Norm Macdonald these past few months. Philip, another one. I mean, I have a lot of great comedians, but Norm was on his old, like just that whole another weirdness level. Just a lot of people didn't understand him, and which I get, but he was brilliant. Like the Norm Show, one of my favorite TV shows of all time. I loved that show. It was so funny. And his roast of Bob Saget, which a lot of people were like, that was the dumbest thing ever. It's like, no, you don't understand. He was on stage, and the whole goal of a roast is to be as vulgar and crass and mean as possible. That's what the producers and the people created were like, everybody, you got to make sure you're mean and stuff. Then Norm comes out and says stuff like, said heck instead of saying a bad word, and told the worst dad jokes of all time. And that's why you hear the comedians just losing their mind laughing, because that's brilliant. He just totally kind of stuck it to the producers and everything like that. And that's why a lot of comedians really love Norm Macdonald, just because he's just crazy like that. Chris Farley movies are hilarious. And if you ever get the chance to see the Chris Farley, like behind the music or whatever is his life story, What a wonderful guy. Like, no matter how much partying he did, he went to church the next day. He always volunteered at these like soup kitchens and stuff. And it's amazing, like how somebody could party and go crazy like that and still never miss church and never miss the opportunity to help others. That's just wild. Howie Mandel talks about his ADHD too. Yeah, Howie Mandel started talking about his ADHD a long time ago, before I knew I had ADHD. And I remember him mentioning it and seeing an interview or something, he talked about it. And it was funny that somebody like me, I just saw that as normal. I think I should have known right then that maybe I have ADHD. When you look at Howie Mandel and his bonkersness on stage and that craziness, and you're going, that's just like how I am. I don't understand what's so weird about this guy. Like, I should have known right away that maybe that was me. Yeah, Norman, though, he had other challenges. He had, I'm sure probably what's going on with him, but I know he definitely had some, he had cancer for like 10 years and told nobody because he didn't want people to worry about him. That was pretty amazing. And also that he didn't want people to, he wanted his comedy to be first. So there's only like a few people he knew. I wish he would have told more people, because he would have, I think more people would have went and seen him live and stuff like that. But that's not what he wanted. He wanted people to come see him because he's funny, not because he's got cancer or whatever. Oh, speaking of, we talked about SAMTIME last week. In his, he had announced the day before, actually that day that we did live stream, he announced he had testicular cancer and was going to get treatment. And I put a thing on Instagram. He did get treatment. He went and had a surgery, and sounds like all's going well. He's got a few weeks to find out if, what's going on. Had to do blood work, I guess, something. But they removed the cancer. They don't think it spread anywhere. So that's a huge relief because, like I said, I love SAMTIME. And we need him around because I need to laugh at least once a week, and he always makes me laugh. So SAMTIME, I know you're going to beat this, and I don't even know why I'm worried. Oh, no, anybody's going to need to worry. You're awesome, SAMTIME. I've seen that very sad doc. Yeah. Just kind of stinks when, like, I remember when Hedberg died, I was like, oh, no. Like, that was just crushing because and that was really probably the first celebrity who passed that I really got sad about. Usually they pass. It's like, I don't know them. It doesn't really affect me. But yeah, Mitch, that killed. Madeline Ann Chambers, hello. Glad you're with us. We've been rambling on about comedians for some reason for a long time. I started this out and be like, well, we'll stick to a good thing, just ADHD stuff, but can't help it. People in the chat want to talk about one thing. We're going to talk about it. Why not? So I'm here for the people. It sounded so weird. Let me see here. Of course, where did we get? I lost my Things 3 app. Just decided to disappear. That's why I keep all my lists. By the way, if you you're gonna see me glancing over here in the side. I use this app called Things 3. It's on my iPad. It's on my iPhone. On my Mac. I highly suggest anybody with ADHD to get a task manager. Download all of them. Just kind of use them and find one that works for you. And the trick is you have to make it a habit. It's great about task managers. You can put stuff in there. You don't have to make it all organized. Just to throw stuff in there, reminders, that stuff like that too. Auditory reminders. I forget notifications to pop up, make a noise to remind you. Get in the habit of using that thing. Force yourself to use. I had to force myself to use this, but once you start forcing yourself to use it, you'll just start doing it, and eventually becomes a habit. And as I always say, habits are things that you just do that you don't have to remember to do. And since you don't have to remember to do them, you can't forget to do them. And believe it or not, it's true. It becomes a habit. You just do it. Now when things pop in my head, I just automatically put it into my task manager, into Things 3 or into Evernote, into something. Everybody with ADHD needs to get in a habit of using a digital calendar, a to-do list, and a digital notebook. Those 3 things, force yourself to use them, become a habit. I promise you, your life will change. Guarantee it will get better. As my psychiatrist told me when I told him or her about how well, how I stay on top of things, because she couldn't figure out how I stayed on top of anything, with appointments and doing things and work stuff. And I told her what I did, and she said, wow, if you can do it, then anybody can do it. I said in my one video, I was like, that's right. That's a great compliment. Now I think about that's not even a compliment. That's actually saying, wow, it's amazing. If you can do it, then literally anybody can do it. That's basically is definitely not a compliment. But anyways, let's see what else. Yeah, Betty White, man, she was funny. If you watch old Betty White stuff, so hilarious. I don't think people realize how funny she was and just stunningly beautiful at the same time. It's always uh there's just something about that when you see somebody so stunningly beautiful and then they just end up being so incredibly funny. Madeline Kahn and like Bernadette Peters and people like that. I think it's the whole catching people off guard thing. Like when you see somebody, a very attractive human being that ends up being incredibly funny or doing something you don't expect, that unexpectedness is like, what? It's that catching off guard. I always is always wonderful. Desmond Tutu passed away. I know the name. I don't know. I can't picture him in my head, but I know that guy. Cauliflower. What is the cauliflower thing? I don't keep seeing. Madeline Ann Chambers. Why do I know the name? I see the little pictures down there, and I'm like, I've seen that name. I've seen the avatar somewhere, but why can't I picture where? Instagram or YouTube? It's one of those two things. Like I said, right now my brain is extra foggy due to the what we're calling the baba ganoush. Madeline, if you weren't in here earlier, the baba ganoush is the let's just say everybody, it seems like recently, is really into the baba ganoush. I check the baba ganoush chart every day, and like 600,000 people in America are all getting some baba ganoush. Because if you say the actual the word, YouTube doesn't like it. So plus, it's just fun to come up with creative ways to say things. I always enjoy that. Okay, what else is going on? Oh, you have commented before. Yeah, my brain. I think I've had some baba ganoush. Mentally, it's very weird. It's all I can say. Very odd. Okay, now I'm going to look at the things 3 list to see what stuff we were going to talk about. I just opened the wrong thing. You see here. If you're watching, I think I already mentioned that if you watch the replay, the links to anything we're talking about is going to be in the description. I don't know how long it'll take because I have to go back and re-listen to the whole thing and put them in as they go. So they're always going to be down there eventually. What else? Oh, I know something I wanted to ask. Is the people that are in the chat right now, which is only 5 people, is how many people are officially diagnosed with ADHD and people that aren't diagnosed but know that they probably have ADHD? Because I'm always fascinated like how many people watch my videos that have it or people that are watching it going, I think I have ADHD and I'm trying to learn about what's possibly going on with me and see if I can relate to some of this madness that's going on. So yeah, I'm just wondering who's diagnosed and who's not. And if you're not diagnosed and you think you have ADHD, as I mentioned in my video about how to tell if you have ADHD, is if everybody that I know that's said to themselves, like, I think I have ADHD, ended up being diagnosed and having ADHD. It's like you just kind of know something's off and weird. You don't know what it is, but once you start learning about it, you're like, oh yeah, that's definitely me. Madeline was diagnosed when she was 6. I wish I was diagnosed when I was younger, but unfortunately, when I was younger, they didn't think I had ADHD because I have inattentive ADHD. So when I was younger, I was shy, and being in the 70s and 80s, because I'm an old dude. Back then, they thought only ADHD kids were hyper. So I can remember them at some point thinking that I might have like ADHD, but them saying like, "Oh no, you're not hyper." So we don't, you just don't apply yourself. You're just not doing this. You're not doing that. So when I was diagnosed, which was like in 2005, I think, or 2004, I was diagnosed with what they call adult ADHD, and they called it that because there was a lot of people being diagnosed as adults that were kids in the 70s and 80s. And and they had ADHD, but nobody knew it because they weren't hyper. So if I would have been diagnosed when I was younger, I know my life would have been a lot different. But nothing can change that. It's nobody's fault. Like nobody knew, not even doctors. If you're a parent and kids that are older and they didn't get diagnosed that they're older and you think it's your fault, that's not. Nobody knew. So, but we're diagnosed now. It's great. My life could have been different. It could have been a lot worse. Who knows? But I think I ended up in a good place. I hope. I think it's all luck. I've got, I'm having fun getting to YouTube videos about it. I have a wonderful person that I get to hang out with all the time, and it's so amazing that I'm at the point now where I'm thinking, I think she lost a bet. There's no other. I can't see why anybody want to hang around me this long. I'm just waiting for her to come out one day and be like, I did it, $10,000. I'm out of here. So I know when she sees this, she's going to be like, what? Because that's how she talks. What? Ugh. But it's great. You know what? I think it's great when to be kind of crazy sometimes because it's led to a lot of things. For example, if it wasn't for me being so ridiculous, and we would have never knew that we had a leak on the second floor bathroom because we were downstairs talking one time and I said something and ridiculous and she just went, there's a water spot up there. If I wouldn't have done that, we might have never noticed. She rolls her eyes so much, she's solid. So craziness paid off. See what else is going on there. I've been at since you were 6. Yeah, Desmond Tutu. Yeah, he was the old guy. Now that you speak, I remember. Where did I see that? Was he in England? I think. I don't remember. Matt Irvine awaiting diagnosis. Yeah, the way I remember when I was I'm in America, and luckily at the time, I didn't have to wait. I know people in other countries, there's like a waiting time because of the way things are done, which is perfectly fine. But I remember just knowing that I might have it was a huge relief. I'd done a lot of research and kind of realized like, oh no, like this is me. I think I do have this. Like I said on another video, I keep talking about other videos, but if you go back, you'll see what I'm talking about. But a friend of mine was kind of one who pointed out that she thought I had ADHD, but just knowing that you might, and knowing that there's help already out there online to help you get through things, huge relief. And there's people out there that you see a lot of people out there self-diagnosing and being like, I self-diagnosed myself with ADHD. And it's like, that's great. That's wonderful. I still highly suggest go see a doctor, a psychologist or psychiatrist. And here's why. I know people who were convinced they had ADHD and were like, I self-diagnosed. That's what I got. And then went to the doctor and the doctor's like, well, no, actually you don't have ADHD. You have anxiety and depression. And that's why this is going on. And so they were then given the right treatment for that. So you might have ADHD, but it might be something more that you really need help with. So that's why I always tell people that self-diagnose, I'm like, that's great. But make sure you get a professional opinion, maybe even 2, because there can be more. And you don't want to be diagnosing, doing things to help your ADHD when it's making something else worse. So. What age? Yeah, ADHD runs in families. What's funny is that is what I hear from a lot of people with ADHD. And, even the science people are like, yeah, it is genetic. Some people say, no, it's not. Other people say, yes, it is. But they said it's pretty much, they can kind of pinpoint, yeah, it is genetic. But once I was diagnosed and I looked at my parents and other people in my family, I was like, oh, yeah, I can see it now. Like, they are definitely on my frequency, as I would say. Madeline's about to be 17. You're just a baby. You're so young. Maybe young, but obviously I was a kid, never slept and woke up hyper. Even during the day, I was often very hyper. Yeah, it's I didn't have the hyperness very much. I'm glad I didn't, because I was already a pain in the rear being just quiet and stuff. But yeah, it's like with the kids that are more hyper, it's a lot easier to notice. For me, like inattentive, for people who are not inattentive, ADHD, your mind's still going as crazy as at that crazy pace that people with the hyper ADHD do, but you're not hyper. Like you just be sitting on a couch doing nothing. And to people around you, it's like he's just laying there doing nothing, but your brain just going nuts, full speed, bajillion ideas, can't get anything done. Whereas, the hyper kids are running around being the hyper kids that they are. You're lucky that your mom was very worldly and knew about it from reading books and wanted to get me help. That's great. It's wonderful when you have parents that are supportive like that. I think the majority of parents are supportive. And the parents that aren't are the parents who they don't understand it. They don't, or they're parents that don't want to feel that they've done something wrong. And if you're a parent watching this, you've done nothing wrong. It's not your fault. If it's a genetic thing, we know that it's a chemical thing. You can't control that. And whatever thing you're coming up with, like, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, that doesn't cause it. We know this. Doctors know it. It's not your fault. But you get your kids help, and it's going to make their life so much better. I promise. Just getting them diagnosed and the doctor going, yeah, this is it, and here's some things to help out. Huge. And look at mine, very, I'm just inattentive now, but I was both ways as a kid. Yeah. I've seen people like that. I guess I'm kind of like that too, where usually I'm just very calm, but then if I get hyper, it's real hyper, like beyond normal hyper, and then back down, like flop. But inattentive was what I would, I guess, label the type of ADHD that I have. Yeah, 2+ year waiting list on NHS. I'm going to do a private clinic NHS scheme, which is meant to be 3 months, but it's more like people doing that too, which increased their wait time. Yeah, I think I was just talking about this yesterday with someone and talking about how in England right now there's a huge wait. And I think what it is, and I don't know if this is true, but I do have a background in psychology. In my videos, I say that I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, and I'm not. But I originally went to college to be a psychologist before switching at the last minute to art. But anyways, there's a huge wait. And I think what that is ADHD people online are to blame, because there's a lot of people out there who are now thinking they've got something going on, and they're going online and researching it. And the ability to access stuff is so easy now on your phones, whatever, that people are now realizing that, oh my gosh, I think I have this, and are booking appointments, and it's kind of getting all backed up. And I think here in a few years, I bet it dies down, because ADHD information is it's all out there now. So your access to it is a lot easier. I think people will start, especially parents, are going to start realizing early on, like, oh, maybe our kid has ADHD, where perhaps a lot of that wasn't going on for quite a while. So I don't know, just the way I can, my little thing that popped in my head, possibly why there's such a huge wait. But during that time, it's like, don't despair. It might be a while before you go on medication or get what you need, but there's so many videos out there. I always tell people, anybody that's just diagnosed or not diagnosed and they think they have it, just go on Jessica McCabe on How to ADHD or any ADHD channel. ADHD Patrick, who is in the chat right now, his channel, go into their videos tab, do by the oldest first, and just binge watch all of them. Guarantee there's a little nugget of information in every single one of those videos that will be helpful. Guarantee it. And just write them down, implement them into your life, and make life a lot easier until you get the official diagnosis and get on the medication or whatever else. Keith Byers, sorry I'm late. That's okay. We've just been chitter-chattering about just random stuff. Some ADHD stuff, a big old long thing about comedy and comedians, stuff like that. Typical just ADHD jumping all over the place. Which, if you have ADHD and you're watching this right now, it's going to all make sense. If you don't have ADHD, you're probably wondering, why are they just jumping all over the place? This is not cohesive. There's no connection. But for ADHD people, they get it. They'll flow right along. Madeline says, ever since I hit puberty, all the hyperness of mine went away. I wonder if that's a natural phenomenon that happens. It could just be like maturity, maybe, Madeline. You just kind of hit that point where everything changes. Even like if you watch a typical neurotypical kid will be change. Hit puberty, get a little bit different. I mean, everything, your body, your brain, everything, I think, kind of changes at that point. Just growing up. So maybe the hyperactivity goes away. I'm impressed that you said my last name. I used to work with a guy, believe it or not, with last name Byers. That's how I know. What was his name? I can't remember his first name. It was a long time ago, but I remember how it was spelled. Okay, let me see. Matt Irvin, I heard the pandemic. Oh, yeah, you know what? That's a lot. I think another thing. Well, not only that, but when everything closed down because everybody was, because of the Baba Ganoush, as we're calling it. If you just joined the chat, we're referring to the recent thing that's going around that is wreaking havoc upon the world. We're referring to that as the Baba Ganoush because one, it's just a really fun word to say. It's my favorite word. You see, I've heard in previously coping, which has made their symptoms come out more and seek answers. Yeah, I think with everything that was going on with the Baba Ganoush, people started to realize symptoms a lot more because I think when you're out and about normal everyday life, there's a lot of distractions. You don't really pay attention to it as much, but when you're at home with your thoughts, things can really pop up. Plus, if you're watching videos and anything and you're starting to learn about it, that could be it. But I think with the NHS, I think things will get better. Like I said, I don't know much about the NHS except for what I learned from Jonathan Pye. Yeah, that's where I get England's news from and what's going on. Jonathan Pye. And if you don't know who Jonathan Pye is, everybody, he is absolutely wonderful. Just a glorious, glorious thing. You see, Madeline says, I heard something that said 2020 was our freshman year of Baba Ganoush, and now we're in the junior year, which is crazy because I'm in my junior of high school and it came. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's really ripping through, which is a good and bad. It's bad because I've lost people. I lost a family member just last week, maybe. People that don't believe that Baba Ganoush is even out there. If they do, they don't think it's a big deal. It was a very big deal to them. But now if you do what you need to do to keep yourself from being sick from the Baba Ganoush, it's not as bad. And my chiropractor brought up a really great point is that a lot of people are getting it, and that's kind of good because you help get you even more immune to future variations and stuff, hopefully. So it's bad that it's going like crazy, but it's good that it's kind of going to help your body a little bit more, kind of like a booster does. But I don't know. He's a super smart guy. My chiropractor is like the smartest dude I know. He's amazing. So when he says that stuff, yeah, I listen. I believe him because he's the guy who's researched the crud out of things. So. But yeah, but eventually we'll get over it. Hopefully, I mean, who knows what's going to happen, but it's definitely been interesting past few years. And for me, I know so many people have said this, but when it hit and all the Baba Ganoush first started and everything closed down, if I didn't watch the news, I would have didn't realize anything had ever changed because I never really leave the house much. I had no idea. Matt Irvin, yeah, Jonathan Pye is awesome. He is awesome. And it's funny, I'd seen a bunch of his videos before I realized that that's not a real dude, that it's the comedian, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but then it became even more funny is when people watch Jonathan Pye videos who think it's real. And then it's kind of like you're on the outside giggling the whole time and watching this person get all bent out of shape and mad at Jonathan Pye or agreeing with him and thinking it's totally real. But that's how good he is. He's so good. It makes it seem real. That's brilliant. Madeline, it's a weird way to see it. I'm not sure what you mean, a weird way to see it, Madeline, but I'm sure it is a weird way to see it. What else is going on here? We have 5 people right now. I think if I would have done this later in the day or maybe gave it a larger window, which I need to do next time I do a live stream, maybe I'll do one sometime next week. I'm not sure when, but I was feeling so funky yesterday. I wasn't sure, or this week, I wasn't sure if it's going to happen at all. So I kind of waited to see how I was doing. And then last night was like, I'm just going to wing it. Why not? I'm going to put it on there and see what happens. Yeah. Do you guys like the live stream? Pretty much the only reason I did it is because I have this thing with being on camera where I need to write out and script everything. If I get in front of the camera and just start talking, I will just lock up and freeze and can't remember what I'm going to talk about. So I figure if I do some live streams, there's no script. I just got to wing it and try to get myself more comfortable. But then I started doing it and getting the questions and interacting with people. I really like it. Like, it's like therapy for me. Seriously, it's like just talking about it. It's very therapeutic. The last live stream, when I went upstairs, got done, my wonderful person said, how was it? And I said, incredible. Like, I was literally my physically buzzing. Like, it opened doors. And I just wanted to take a nap because it was like it was so euphoric feeling for me. So Matt watched the last live stream, but RSD is rejection sensitivity dysphoria. I do believe is what that's called. I think a lot of people with ADHD have that. I know I do. I've never been officially diagnosed with it. I think if I talked to my psychiatrist, he'd probably be like, I just thought you knew, like that type of thing. Kind of like when you have ADHD. And another great story, or a great thing for anybody to remember that has ADHD or thinks that they have ADHD. And then when you're diagnosed, that if you're afraid to tell friends and family, don't be. Because you'll be amazed that when you go to people, especially friends and coworkers, and you say, hey, I was diagnosed, I have ADHD, I guarantee you, pretty much all of them are going to say, yeah, we thought you knew. Did you, we thought you knew that already. So just a little, hopefully that if you're thinking about telling friends and coworkers and you don't know if you should, they already know. I think it's good. It did open a platform. Oh, wait. So sorry. Told you my brain is just not going. Keith said, I like it. I think it's a good open platform for good convo. Yeah, I think it is too. There's so many, like when I read comments on videos, I always want to, you can talk back, you can reply to them, but there's so many times it's like, I wish I could just make a video about that, which I'm going to do. I actually have a series starting sometime soon called Answers the Comments, which is where if I find a comment on my videos or even other videos, like I literally watch every single ADHD video out there and I'll scroll through the comments. And if I see something interesting, I will take a screenshot of it and I'm going to start doing those like videos about that and answering people's questions, especially if they're on my videos. Those are always first, but there's a whole bunch of them I've done screenshots of that I'm going to start doing. But I thought Answer the Comments is great because you can answer people, make videos for them. But then when I started doing the live stream, I realized, hey, people can just do that, ask the questions in there, and I can just answer them without making a whole video about it. I mean, I will make a whole video about it because once my brain's like, we're going to do that, that's it. It's locked on and it's going to happen at some point. But yeah, the live stream's way more fun than I expected it to be. Let's hope I'm keeping it going and people are interested. I hope I'm giving some good information, even though if we go on tangents or whatever, but it's a lot of fun for me. What else is going on here? Is it Gabor is it Mate? It's pretty good too, especially on ADHD and managing stress. I like to unwind, listen to his videos. Philip Blair. I don't know if I've seen that one. I had to have seen it. That channel. If it's on YouTube, I know I've had to stumbled across it because I literally every single day, literally as in the actual definition of the word literally, and not like the high school girl definition of word like literally. Like literally, I go on to YouTube every single day, at least 5 to 10 times, search ADHD, and then I go into the search filters and do by upload date. and I scroll through and find the videos. And I click on them. If it's an ADHD related channel, I automatically subscribe. But if it's not an ADHD related video, I'll kind of subscribe and then see what's going on. But so pretty much every channel out there is ADHD related. I've found it, unless they don't do very good SEO and it's hard to find their videos. Then I probably don't know them. You see, I think it's good. What? Small crowd is good. Too many people just fill the whole chat box quick. Exactly, Patrick. You get on live streams and there's a ton of people. It gets hard. It's just constantly. If you go on a how to ADHD live stream, it just goes. And for her, that's got to be incredibly difficult. I know she has a team and they're like reading through and I think they do like a Google sheet or a Word. There's something they have and they're putting the good stuff into there, so she doesn't have to just read the whole thing and get overwhelmed with it. But yeah, once right now, this whole live stream thing is easy for me to maintain. I know at some point I'm gonna have to like a moderator, that can go in and pull out the good stuff and stuff like that. But speaking of live streams, if you're ever on a live stream, and you have a good question, something you really want to know, that the live streamer has not talked about, and if they have a little $sign next to the say something window, I think it's near that, somewhere there'll be a little $sign. If they have that, you can click it and you can give a little donation. And when you click it, there's a slider bar. You can go up or down. It'll change. And you can put a question in there. And then when it goes into the chat, it highlights it and shoots it to the top. They see it. And a lot of times they will answer those pretty quick. You'll definitely get noticed. One, because that, as any streamer would say, the people who are supporting you, you definitely want to give them the answer their questions. But also, you can't help it. It highlights it in the chat, and there's always like a little picture or something with it. It's wonderful. Plus, you're just supporting creators that way. It's a really cool thing to do. I do it all the time. I want to have a question. If anybody here is on mobile, when you do a thumbs up on using the YouTube app on a video, do you get the animated video or the animated little thumbs up guy? I'm not saying that you don't have to do it on this video, but let's see. I'm going to open my iPad to show what I'm talking about, because I've talked about this before and people are like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, it does it on mine. It does this thing and it does it animated. And okay, let's see. All right, it didn't do it on this account, which is weird. I have different YouTube accounts, and on one it doesn't do it. But if I switch to my Go ADHD Go account and I do it, I'll see if I can get it to do it. There it goes. Okay, I don't know if you can see this or not. Now watch. I'll show you the ring on. Here's a little thumbs up button. Watch this. See it? It animates. And bloop, nobody else says that it happens when they do it. I don't know. I guess I'm special. So yeah, if you click on mine and it does it, I'm just trying to find somebody else that's seeing it. Like, it could be a big, huge error or whatever, but who knows? Or maybe I'm a test person. Way back before they started doing like the picture-in-picture, I was on YouTube and I went to close the app and it popped the video up on my screen and I was able to use my phone, and nobody else apparently could do that. So I might be like a testing account or something like that. Like I said, it's the only account that I have that does these weird things like that. Okay, sorry, I got out of the way there. Keith, I just realized I had ADHD or got diagnosed within the past year at 31. Always kind of felt spacey. Once I told people, they were like, yeah, that makes sense, kind of. Yeah, exactly, Keith. It's funny how when I was diagnosed, I was like, oh, I don't know how to tell people. Now I look back, I'm like, why did I care? It's who I am. But when I told people, they're like, oh, yeah. So don't worry. Look up James Oka, Matt Irvin on his book Focus Forward. I got the book and his audio both. He's also been on some of the podcasts talking about what he calls emotional distress syndrome. Okay, I have to look that up. Matt Irvin. Oh, wait. Look up James Ochoa. Ochoa? I don't know. Speaking of great books to read, there's a book called Freak Factor by Dave Rendell. Get that, read it. You can download I know he's got like the Kindle type of book or the actual paperback, or go online and watch his videos. That thing is life changing. It will change if you have ADHD, if you have any type of mental disorder. He talks about autism and all kinds of stuff. That book changed my life. It'll definitely give you a different outlook on your ADHD and stuff like that. So yeah, Freak Factor by David Randell is incredible. I don't read books. I can tell you the books that I have read in my entire life, front to cover: the Wayne Gretzky autobiography, the Fish book, an Oasis book, Dave Randell Freak Factor. Those are the only big books I've read the entire thing of. And so that says something, because I can't pay attention to reading anything longer. But definitely get that book, read it, or the audiobook, or watch the videos on YouTube. It's just life-changing. I watched one of Rick Green's videos, just a random vid on my feed, and I was like, damn, yes, Rick Green is, this is a fun story. I stumbled across his videos and was like, wow, this guy is hilarious. Like, it's so funny and just witty, and it's like dry humor, stuff like that. Couldn't believe like how good it was. And then one point was trying to find other videos of his and found out that he was on the Red Green show from Canada. Like, he was in that. And I was like, that explains it, because that show is, comedy gold, especially if you're in Canada. Everybody knows the Red Green show. It's him. So I just like, and I bet his ADHD played a huge part in that show being successful, being writing and everything. He's just amazing. Yeah, he did, Patrick. He did a lot of his videos. I think he was partnered with somebody. I don't know the whole story, but there was something going on, so his videos disappeared. But I think now he's starting to like kind of sprinkle some back in of the older ones. I'm not sure what's going on there. So, but yeah, he's always definitely subscribe to Rick Green, his channel. He's an older guy, but man, he's just fun to watch and talk. He can just talk about anything, and you'll pay attention to it. He's great. See what else? Rick Green's. What else have? Awesome. Yeah, I'm always looking for new ADHD channels. Like I said, I think I've got all of them. I'm usually the first subscriber to a lot of the channels. For example, I just found one yesterday. I can't remember her name. I think she's in Australia. It's always fun when it's got the subscribe button, you click, and their subscriber count goes bing, 1. I'm like, oh, that's me. And I always think it's got to feel good. It felt good for me, as an ADHD person, putting a channel out there, and your video's out there just a while, and then somebody finds it, and they subscribe, and they comment, and it's like that dopamine hit. It's got to be just euphoric and exciting and motivational. But of course, with ADHD channels, there's so many that start out and then they fizzle away. But that's expected. And very few keep on going. But Patrick's been churning them out for quite a while. How to ADHD, of course, churning them out a bit. Rick Green's been doing it a long time. But to find ones that are consistent, there's not a whole ton of them out there. ADHD specific, consistent channels. And for me, that is huge motivation, because I don't want to become that channel that just disappears. So it's like, if I put a lot of effort into it and do something that somebody likes, that thought of letting a bunch of people down by not doing anything is great motivation for making videos and for stressing the heck out of me. But that's good. See, we have 6 people in here now. Sorry, I keep licking my lips. I bit my lip a couple days ago, and now it's like I might keep messing with it. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. It's the ADHD thing. While we're at it again, let's talk about some more ADHD channels. If you guys are here, we already talked about Karen a bunch. If you want nutrition, fitness, stuff like that, exercise ideas, she's good for that. If you like very informative, always How to ADHD is, everybody knows that one. ADHD Patrick, he's in the chat. His is really good. HEYWOOD and stuff. We talked about him. He does all kinds of stuff. He's an 18 and up kind of content. But he's good and he's pretty consistent. I could go on forever. We talked about my favorite little train wreck, ADHDumpsterFire. That is, she's got a lot of great information in her videos peppered through there. Really entertaining. She's another one of those people like Rick. She can just talk about anything and it's entertaining. And wow, who else? There's a bunch. Hidden ADD is another one. It's pretty consistent with stuff. Good channel. Oh wow. Like I said, I can't remember off the top of my head. I'll remember as soon as I turn this live stream off, they'll all pop in there. Oh, who's the guy who just changed his name? He used to be all ADHD related. He was gone for a while. And he came back, and now his name is it Stuart? I'll put him in the description also. He does a lot of ADHD channels or ADHD videos, especially his old ones. I'm going to have to pop this up because I'm going to forget people, and then they'll email me like, why didn't you talk about my channel? Because I forgot. I'm sorry. There's a lot of ADHD coaches channels out there, which is totally fine. But I forgot what I was going to say about this. ADHD. There's a bunch of channels out there that are ADHD coaches, but a lot of their videos are, here's a little bit of ADHD stuff, and you want to know more, you have to do this. And you realize it's just pitches for something. But there's also ADHD coach channels out there that offer a lot of good information in addition to their coaching stuff. So it doesn't even matter. If there's an ADHD channel where it's 30 seconds long and it's 10 seconds of them giving you information and 20 seconds of them pitching their coaching, if in that 10 seconds there's something good, that's all that matters. Watch all the ADHD videos you can, get all the information you can. That's what I do. And I turned out totally normal. Yeah, Stuart Anderson. I knew that was his name, but for some reason in the back of my head it was going, yeah, that's not right. Yeah. All right, I'm going to look in my subscriptions on my ADHD channel, and I know I'll pull up some new ones. Hold on one second. I don't know what my iPad's doing. Here we go. Let's look. Nick Nimmin, the Daily Woo. Oh, this isn't an ADHD channel, but I talk about her. She's on right now. Is Merv. Basically, it's a body doubling. At the time I made the video, I didn't know that's what it was called. I think I called it the Weird ADHD Brain Hack. It's the video where I talk about Merv, which is basically just her studying. You don't see her, just see her hands, and it's this beautiful scenery outside the window. And for some reason, perhaps something that I really have to focus in and get done, I put that video on, and it's just kind of side of my computer, and I just work a lot better because it's like somebody's there. Very odd, but Merv, absolutely wonderful. See who else that I like a lot. Me and ADHD is a new channel. She is just started not too long ago, but she's starting to pump out some videos. ADHD coach Mandy John is another one who puts out some little good informative videos, does some live streams sometimes. She's on Instagram also. Ross Davies is a new channel. Who else? I can never pronounce his name. Is it Mike Agulio? I can't talk. He's got a channel he just started. ADHD person who's just getting going. But there's a ton of them. Like I said, if you go in and Optimal Mind Performance is a ADHD channel. I don't know. I'll put some more links down in there. But there's a lot of them out there. Like I said, you can never get enough good information. Like I said, I literally watch every single ADHD video out there because you never know what they're going to say that could literally change your life. Oops, about that. All right, let's see other stuff we can talk about during this, whatever the heck's going on. Okay, I gotta open this up again because I keep closing it. Oh, we talked about that. Talked about that. Wow, actually, we talked about a lot of this stuff. Oh, here's some stuff I'd like to talk about. We just talked about Merv doing the body doubling videos, which is like a thing where in my video I talked about like I had heard about this stuff, these like study with me videos, but I never paid attention to them. And then actually it popped up in my feed one time. I just clicked on it and I was surprised at how well it helped me work. And I'm all about odd things that you wouldn't think of that can help you, And for example, study with me videos really help me. There's a thing called, I don't know if anybody's heard of Binaural Beats. Those are wicked for me. You don't know what they are. They're frequencies. Like you have to use headphones because they have different sounds on each side. Put your headphones on, your earbuds in, turn them on, and it's weird. It's hard to explain what's going on, but man, do they help me focus. They will knock you out if you need to sleep. I mean, they're relentless. It's just frequencies. It's bizarre. But if you ever get a chance to check out any type of binaural beats, you'll find them online. There's some apps that do stuff. You can find them for sleep, and you just have to like play around with them, listen to them, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's just bizarre. Apparently what's going on with binaural beats is there's a frequency in one ear. Perhaps it might be like boop. There's a frequency in this ear. Perhaps it's boop. And your brain makes up the frequency that's in the middle. And it's causing some stimulation in your brain. So what you hear, we put one in is just the one tone. Put the other in, it's just take one out, other tone. Put them both in. And what you get is like this weird warble sound. And I don't know what happens, but it does stuff to your brain, and it definitely helps me. It's weird. Yeah, Patrick, they fascinate me too. It's very strange. When I heard about them, I was like, what? And then I used them. I was like, what? So especially when I had to go to sleep, I'd put earbuds in and I was out. I'd set the timer for 2 minutes. Never made it to 2 minutes, ever. Yeah, running water helps. We actually have a who asked that? I just saw it. Philip Blair. We have I guess it's called a white noise machine, and it's got some different options. And every night we go to bed, it's the ocean wave sound that goes, and it definitely helps. It also helps because I sleep pretty deep, but my wonderful person next to me doesn't, and so any little sound, it's like she wakes up. So that helps kind of keep her soothed and not wake up as much. And yeah, it's definitely works. I mean, there's all kinds of different sounds out there, but find something that works for you and try it. Like I said, I try anything to help with stuff. But binaural beats, that was a big one. That really helped. Yeah, rain over your bedroom, smart. Yeah, that's really great. The rain. Yeah, rain was one of them. The problem with the rain one is that if I have to go to the bathroom, I have to go to the bathroom constantly. I don't know why. The ocean one, I'm fine. The babbling brook, the rain sounds, those that's not good for me. Mike, we just talked about your channel a minute ago and said that you just started. I couldn't pronounce your name. I don't know why, but I couldn't. Let me see. There was something else. Oh, another thing I found that's really, I don't know if it really helps my ADHD, but I find fascinating is we all hear about the ASMR channels out there, which I never really understood. People that do the snapping and the tapping, and it's all quick and stuff like that, and I never really understood that. But there's one called Veto ASMR, and it's VITO then ASMR. Watch those videos, and I will drool on myself. Like, it's just amazing, visually beautiful, sound. Like if you have headphones in, the sounds. I don't know, man. My brain just turns off when I watch those. It's just so, everything about it's really cool. Yeah. Yeah, Patrick, ASMR freaks me out too, especially the ones like when I search for the ADHD videos, I see them all the time and they're fast, and I'm thinking, if I have ADHD, why would I want this constant nonsense? I would want something slow. Um, but I understand there's people that really like that stuff. There's a channel that an ADHD, she has ADHD called My ADHD ASMR, and she states that she's like, I have ADHD and I do an ASMR channel. I'm not doing stuff for ADHD people, even though it is the quick stuff and she does all kinds of things. But check out her channel too, because if you're into that type of like ASMR, people really like it. But yeah, the Veto ASMR is it's a whole nother level. It's like ice cubes. It's not the talking and the snapping. It's like, he's like putting his hands in whipped cream and the ice cubes and stuff. And the colors are, it's like beautiful to look at and just super tingly and just, I don't know. There'll be something in there that's going to make your hairs all stand up on your body at some point. It's really neat. Some of the accident. Actually, I'm doing a comedy video at some point called it's ASMR, ADHD ASMR, where it's just going to be kind of not really ASMR, but kind of. When you see it, you'll get it. I'm just babbling now. Jeremy G, yeah, I can't stand ASMR. Yeah, I couldn't either. But they're like I said, the Veto one is on a whole nother level. It's not that craziness. It's not a person talking and doing all the whatever. It's I don't know. The sounds of pouring carbonated water into a glass with ice, and the way that the stereo, it's beautiful. It's real. Even if you turn the sound off and just look at it, visually stunning. Yeah, Mike. The like I said, a lot of the ASMR is people talking and tapping their nails and stuff. But the Veto one, it's like I can think of it like a Coca-Cola commercial. Where you watch those and they're pouring it into the glass, and it's that fizzy sound and the ice cubes, and you're like, oh, I want that. Sounds so good and it's so amazing looking and sounding. It's like that. Everything is like that. Scratching a blackbird, the worst sound in the world. Yeah, Patrick, that is a terrible sound. They don't really get that anymore because now, like in schools, they use the dry erase boards and digital stuff. But yeah, I remember that scratching nails on a chalkboard. Yee. Mike, the channel I'm recommending is called Veto ASMR. It's VITO ASMR. When you see it, you'll know like that's the one. I mean, you're a designer, you're going to see and go, oh, that's pretty. So it's so beautiful. Oh, what else? Cute puppy. Who's got a cute puppy? I love puppies. My dog, I'm surprised he's not down here. Sir Cowboy Habersham. I was going to have him in the video today at some point because he always comes down and gets on his bed. Literally, it's a bed next to me. And but he's not down here today. Probably because I told him, I was like, you'll be in the video tomorrow. And he's like, no, I'm not. He's stubborn. Okay, what else is going on? Any questions out there? I know I've been rambling on for, like over an hour and a half. I really kind of figure out a way to keep this more short, but I'm having fun. I mean, I said like last live stream, if there was nobody here, I would be doing the exact same thing. I just, they have a scene in Jaws of scratching the blackboard. It gets me every time. I saw the film. Jaws is a movie that they show, and I would love to go do this sometime. And at some point, but I also don't want to. I have a friend who lives in California, and where she lives is off of the ocean. But there's the inlets that come in, and they show Jaws. Like once a month, they were showing it. This was years ago. I don't know if they still do it, but they had a gigantic, like a drive-in movie screen, like out on this beach. They would show it, and then everybody watching the movie had to be in inner tubes in the water. Ocean water, in watching Jaws on it. And she said it's the most terrifying thing you'll ever experience, yet a lot of fun because there's a shark net, so the sharks can't come in. to like where the beach area is. She's like, but the entire time, everybody's just doing this, like looking down, looking around, like getting out of their inner tubes and floating up on the top. And it's like, that's absolutely, it's absolutely brilliant to do a movie like that. Get in the water with the sharks. We'll go show this shark movie. You already forgot that. Did you forget the name of the Veto ASMR? Is that what it was? I think if you're talking to me, Mike, about the name you forgot. Yeah, what else is going on? Any good movies out? I'm not a movie person, really. There's never any movies that come out that's like, I have to see that. I'm more of I watch the same stuff over and over again, like TV shows. We'll get on a white collar streak where we literally watch every single white collar episode in order from the pilot to the finale, then restart and do it all over again. Like, that's our thing. Right now we're on Psych. That's our other favorite show. Everyone in order. And then when you get to the finale, it's like, oh, it's over. Now we'll be sad. Back to the pilot. We have to watch the pilot. Then we'll feel better because it's not over. And then we do it all the way through again. Beta, let's see. Oh, Veto. It's V as in Victor, IT as in Tom. Oh, ASMR. I think. Now I'm like thinking about it. My brain's like, is that right? But yeah, I'm pretty sure that is. Let me see what else. The Glitch. Don't look. What are some good series that are out there? I know people are talking about Squid Game. I know people watch that. I watched a little bit of it and it was kind of like not my thing. Peaky Blinders. I love that show. I don't know. But we're going off on a tangent. So sorry. Let's get back to some ADHD stuff. I don't know if you guys have questions. There's 6 people here. We're at an hour and a half. Let's see. I'm scrolling through the chat again. If you're still here, type in hello, so I can just see who pops up. I wish there was like a list, like I could see people's names, but I've seen some of Cobra Kai, Patrick. I saw like the first few episodes. I don't know why I didn't go back and watch the rest. I probably should, but I said I don't really watch a lot of television. I listen to a lot of YouTube, and that was it. That's my thing. I like to binge watch YouTube videos. Like I mentioned last live stream, like I binge watched every single The Daily Woo, Adam the Woo video when the Baba Ganoush all started a few years ago. Thanksgiving, I binge watched every single That Chapter video, start to finish. FYI, 15 days. That's how many days it takes to watch That Chapter from when you get up at 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning till 5 in the evening every single day. Okay, Mike's here, Philip's here, Matt's here, Patrick's here. What happened to the other people? Is that 4? I like when there's like a few people you see talking or saying that they're still here, and then there's like other ones that show that they're there, but they're not. Like there's 6 people here, but they're not saying anything. I always wondered what they're doing. Are they just sitting there reading it and enjoying it, or did they leave, not realizing that it's still on? Or if they're like me with my YouTube Premium, you can have YouTube open and watching it, or you can just go into other apps and do things and it'll just keep playing. I don't know if they show up. Everything I do watch is pretty much forced upon by my wife. I can see that. For me, I don't mind watching anything. Nothing really phases me. You can put on anything on TV and I'll hang out. I might not watch it, but I'm in the same room. Usually like listening to YouTube videos, unless it's Psych or White Collar or something like that. We'll watch it, or movies. We'll watch together. I've never seen. Oh wait, yeah, I did see Hamilton. I saw it on Disney Plus. I think I need to see it live. I think it's just like anything with the theater. It's just better live, so much better live. Like I'm a big fan of the Nutcracker. Every year I have the Battle of the Nutcrackers, which is the Russian version that I bought on Apple TV, and the New York City version, which I bought on Apple TV, and I watch them back to back. Totally different, but the way they do things and they look, I'd love to see it live. I know it's way different. And by the way, there's a thing going around. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw it, but these the Cincinnati Pops did a thing where they showed Star Wars, and it was Return of the Jedi, and then the orchestra plays the music. So it's like they remove the music from the show, and then they play the music along with the movie. It is the coolest thing ever because you're watching a movie in this really big old Cincinnati Music Hall, super old, haunted, beautiful looking, and you're watching Star Wars, and you have the live orchestra playing. It's unbelievable. They even played the intro, 20th Century Fox. The place went insane when they did that. But yeah, check your local city if they have an orchestra or whatever, and see, because I know that travels around a bit to different orchestras and they do it. So it's pretty cool. What else is going on? Now there's 7 people. I wonder who else is in here. I wonder if I do this later in the day, if more people would be here. I know it's 9:30 where I'm at in the morning is when it started, and that is in the Eastern time zone in America. And I'm trying to find a good time to be able to do this where you have what's good for people all over the place, all over the world, basically, where if they want to join in, it's not like, oh, this is totally inconvenient. But kind of basing this off Nick Nimmin, who is in, I think, Singapore or Thailand, I think. And his are usually around 9 o'clock in the morning, which is like late his time and good for a lot of people. I mean, it's a huge amount of people watching. So I think maybe next time I'll kind of bump it later in the afternoon or before noon or something like that. I don't know. Patrick says it's 6 o'clock there, so it's not. Okay. 4 p.m. where Matt is. So it's interesting how many people I get. I think there are not in America. Let's see, it's 11 here. Doing the math in my head. Even like out in California, it's 6 or 5 or 6, something like that. I don't know. Let's see, 6 p.m., 4 p.m., 8:09 a.m. Where Philip's at. I don't know where we see 8. That must be West Coast America, probably. Something like that. Chex Mix, 4 p.m. there. I need like a little map. I need I think I need to set my Apple clocks up on my iPad of all the different time zones across the world. Wow. Yeah, it's interesting. It's speaking of things across the world, I think it's amazing. I wonder how much technology has helped people with ADHD. I know a lot of people say like, well, it's the technology and the phones and stuff make the ADHD worse, which yeah, they can, definitely. But all I know is if I would have had a smartphone and this technology when I was younger, and I knew I had ADHD, or even if I didn't know and I had a smartphone, I would have been way better at things. The ability to be reminded and to have to-do lists and calendars and stuff, and forcing myself to without my smartphone, without my iPhone, my iPad, computer technology, I'd be a train wreck, more of a train wreck. I'm already a train wreck, but it's made life a lot easier, and it's distracting. It's distracting if you let it be distracting. It's the reason I don't do Facebook. I don't do really any social media except for Instagram and YouTube. That's pretty much it. But yeah, technology has definitely made my life so much better and easier. What else is going on? I'm trying to think of an interesting question, something to talk about that's interesting. But it's not working. My brain. Today's just one of those days. It's been one of those weeks. That's what it's been. But that's okay. That's fine. Yeah, Patrick loves technology. Philip Blair, what kind of iPad do you recommend? I think iPads at the time are at the point where any of them. I mean, I have the base model. Mine's a 2018, I think it is. Wait, yeah. Normal, just typical iPad. It's wonderful. It's one you can use an Apple Pencil on. It's great. The iPad Airs that are out now, awesome. iPad Pros are super great for, I think, more creative people. That's wonderful. But yeah, the iPad Air, and if somebody has that, is incredible. You get that with the Apple Magic Keyboard. And it's basically like a tiny laptop. It's crazy. I absolutely love it. But I've been an Apple person a long time. I know people are like, "Oh, you an Apple fanboy?" It's like, yeah, because it's what I've always used. I mean, I started designing at a time where there was no Adobe software for PCs. Everything was on Mac. So that's what I learned. That's what I used. And of course, it's now on PC. But it's just my own preference. I've tried PCs, I've tried Android devices. Great benefits to both of those, but I just love my Mac stuff. Especially this little the M1M MacBook Air that I got about a year ago. It's absolutely the most insane computer ever. I mentioned that earlier, but yeah, the fact that this little, like the base low end computer that Apple makes is better than my gigantic iMac that I had. I mean, it's unbelievably powerful. It's great for like it never messes like lags and stuff, editing videos, doing design work. It's pretty sweet. See, everybody's talking about movies in the chat, which is great. See what else is going on in here. So funny when I get ready to do these live streams, I have all these ideas. Like, here's a bunch of stuff that I should probably talk about. And then if I don't put them into my little list, then they're gone. They leave. I need to always remember, put it in my list always. I'm doing a video soon about just about that, about how everybody with ADHD needs to train themselves to remember that you're going to forget it. Like anytime you think of anything, the first thought should be you're going to forget it, and immediately put it into, some sort of app, things, Evernote, Notion, whatever you're using, or write it down, take a picture of it, put it in where you've got access to whatever. Always, because you're going to forget it. Like I just proved. I don't write it down, it's gone. I will remember it at a dumb time, like 2 weeks from now, in the middle of a restaurant or in the middle of a grocery store, just be walking along and be like, "Oh yeah, that's what I was going to talk about. Why did I just remember that?" So, absolutely ridiculous. But you know what? It's the ADHD brain, and when people ask, like, sometimes do you wish you had like a normal brain? And I think about all the struggles I have and stuff, and I want to say yes, but then I think about how boring that might be. And then I'm like, I don't think I would. I'd like to have less struggles, which, hopefully if you have ADHD, you're watching ADHD videos, you're learning things to overcome your struggles and make your life better. But I would rather be this way, I think, than just have a normal brain and going through life without any, I guess you could say, excitement. I don't know. I do not know. Random rememberings. Yes. They think it's amazing, like how that happens. Like it's a random stuff that pops in my head, and anybody with ADHD, I'm sure you all experience this. Just sound asleep at night, and then I'll wake up to go to the bathroom, and it's like, hey, remember in third grade that dodgeball game? You threw that ball and you almost hit your teacher. It's like, well, where'd that come from? Like, that makes no sense whatsoever. Totally. Do normal people do that? I don't think it's like on that level. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. Okay, we have 5 people in here. So I should probably wrap this up because it's about time for the Sir Cowboy Habersham to have his lunch, and he will come and stare at me to give him his lunch. By the way, if nobody knows, that Sir Cowboy Habersham is my dog. Patrick says normal brain would be nice. Then again, it would probably be super boring. Yeah, exactly. It's interesting how many people that don't have ADHD that have told me, it's like, I wish I had your brain, to be able to think of stuff like you do and come up with stuff like you do. And I usually tell them, you know what? If you did have my brain, after a few minutes, I would just have to come over and take it back because you would just be curled up in the fetal position in a corner crying and just mumbling make it stop over and over and over again. So yeah, Patrick, isn't it weird how fast this goes? It's like almost 2 hours again. Every time I get on here, I'm like, I hope we can talk for maybe a half hour at least, maybe an hour. It ends up being like 2 hours. Philip, yeah, I wish I turned my ADHD off at times. Me too. I can turn it way down. My last video, we talked about CBD oil. If I take CBD oil drops throughout the day, I can turn it pretty much completely off. But with my job being a designer and being creative and writing videos and stuff, I can't turn it all the way down. Like I take VYVANSE, which helps me manage so much stuff, but the CBD oil really calms things down. And but like I said, I have to have that little touch of madness going on, just enough to keep me doing what I do. Yeah, as we talked about, if you weren't in the chat or in last live stream, we talked about CBD oil. So if you want to go back to that one, I believe the thumbnail for that one is blue. And there's a playlist called Live Stream Replay where I will put every live stream replay, go figure, in there. Trying to come up with a way that I can go through and kind of timestamp everything. I'm also going to start going through in the future ones and doing these things called the live stream chunklets, where if we're talking about a certain topic in that live stream, I'm going to edit all those bits and put them in one thing. So it's kind of a cohesive video about one thing without gigantic sections about stand-up comedy or movies, that type of thing. I'm new to this, so I'm always trying to think of something different and knowing my audience and knowing that you better stay on topic or whatever. Yeah, Philip, a CBD oil. A lot of people I know won't try it, and I didn't try it for a long time because you think CBD oil, you think hemp, you think cannabis, and I'm like, I don't like that feeling. It's nothing like that at all whatsoever. My chiropractor suggested it, and it literally immediately cut out all like my depression issues and anxiety, like anxiousness and like anger and stuff. Like it really, that all ceased immediately and helped me sleep better. My body aches went away. But make sure if you're doing CBD oil, research it, find an all natural one, find a good one. According to my chiropractor, there's like a handful that are really good, pure, nothing added, which were ANANDA hemp. I think there's one called Charlotte's Web, and I can't remember the other one. There was like 3. He's like, do one of those 3. Those are the really good ones that you can trace, you can track, find where they came from. All natural. They're very strict on how they're made. You get stuff with, other ones are who knows what's in them, but a little pricey, but it lasts. Bottle lasts me a long time, and it's one of those things. Once you start using, you're like, I don't care how much it is. It's that life-changing. I mean, my significant other talks about like how much it changed me, like for the better. You know, I wasn't, not that like I was a mean person or whatever, but she saw me how I could get frustrated easily and get frustrated with myself. And you know, that whole when you do something wrong, you're like, oh, what the hell's wrong? That doesn't even happen anymore. It's just I don't have like that panicky weirdness going on. But I have a 10% THC, a 15%, and a vape high THC flower for the flare-ups. Yeah. The THC on well, full spectrum, I think, is one with THC in it. There's not a lot, and there's something about my chiropractor suggested getting more THC because of something in that formula that would help me. He felt would help me better than the type without it in there. But it doesn't make me feel high at all whatsoever. But it definitely helped. And I know other people who've tried it that never tried it, and they said, "Yeah, wow, this is crazy how it helps." Yeah, what are some other things maybe that you guys try for your ADHD that you found to be very beneficial? I mean, we all know about exercise. Meditation can help. I know a lot of people are like, meditation, there's no way I can set like that. But yeah, it does help people a lot. I've tried it before. I just keep forgetting to do it. But when you meditate, it's kind of weird how you're able to sit there and not do stuff. Yoga is another one that I've tried. I did mainly for back pain, then found out the back pain was caused by tight hamstrings. So I did this back pain yoga video by a lady named Lindsay Samper. And immediately, like next day, my back pain was gone. But I noticed when I was doing the yoga stuff, these stretches and stuff, it did calm me down a lot. That was back before I had CBD oil too. So it definitely did help. Thoughts on new medication? Aster? I haven't heard of that. King in the North. I haven't heard of that one. I think because I'm kind of in my little VYVANSE world, I just know mine and whichever ones I was on. But there's always seemed like there's new ones coming out. So it might have come out. I just didn't see it. I know there's one called My Days, which is relatively new. I've heard good things about. Philip says, yeah, omega-3 fish oil. Yeah, that's another one. I take that every single morning. I've done that for years and years and years. And if I run out and I don't take it for like a few weeks, I notice. Like, I don't know how, but I start to notice like something's just a little bit weird. And then if I start taking again, it kind of fizzles out. Like, I know, like, oh, that's what it was. That definitely does something. I mean, it's just good for people in general. Omega-3 fish oil is. But I don't like the fish burps. I don't like that fishy oil fish burps. So I have to get a drink again here. I love how I keep saying, like, we should probably end it, and then I just keep going. Ah, yes. The liquid form. Yeah, I tried the liquid form one time, Patrick, and I forget where it was at. But it was gross. Remember I was putting it like, it was like just it was like a dropper or something. And then my whole mouth was like, you just ate like fish. It was so weird. Yeah, Chex Mix, there's actually a brand I get sometimes. And on the bottle, it says no more fish burps on it. And it was right. I didn't have them when I tried that kind. But I haven't seen them in a while. So I have to get the kind that has fish burps. Let's talk about, people talk about supplements and they're like, you see people saying like, well, you can't heal ADHD with supplements. Well, you can't heal ADHD with anything, but supplements do work. I definitely know, like before I was on medication, my doctor, when I got diagnosed, she said, before you try medication, she said, because I said, I don't know if I want to try medication. And I said that, she said, well, why don't you try some supplements? And she suggested St. John's wort, ginseng, ginkgo biloba, omega-3 fish oils. And I tried those and they all did well for me. St. John's wort didn't. That made me feel weird. So I stopped taking that. But it did help. I did notice like I felt a little bit different. Like my attention was a little bit better. But then again, my ADHD is like off the charts. So we tried that. Then I said, I don't, this is working, but it's still bad. So then I went on medication. But yeah, I always tell people, even if it's not helping your ADHD, omega-3 is good for your body no matter what. Same thing with vitamin D. It's good for your body no matter what. Zinc. I've seen people like zinc. Yeah, I've heard all kinds of good things about zinc. I think zinc is part of my gummy vitamins that I take. I should really look into more just out of curiosity what some of this stuff does. Or I'm just going to ask my chiropractor next time I'm there because he knows everything about everything. Just, what's zinc do, Dr. Matt? And then he will go into the scientific thing of what happens. And then I have no idea what he's talking about, but it's always fascinating. St. John's wort is like a low dose of Prozac, Philip says. Yeah, you know what? That's kind of like what it was. It was weird. It was like something I just didn't like about it. I don't know what it was. It just made me feel odd. And so when I told her, I was like, I'm taking these supplements, it makes you feel odd. She said, eliminate this one. And I did. It was like ginseng or something. And then she's like, okay, well, try to do this one. And when I got the St. John's wort, which was the second one, then I was like, that was it. And then after a while, I put it back into into my vitamin regimen. And it's like, oh, no, that was it. That's the one. Same thing with like vitamin B12 or B6. One of those two makes me feel weird. But yeah, there's so many like interesting supplement things out there that a lot of it. I do notice, like I used to drink when I was in art school, and I I wasn't diagnosed at the time, and I didn't do so well on things. But I started drinking ginseng tea, like this Arizona ginseng tea, and at that point, my grades went up, and they stayed up until I stopped drinking it, and then they went back down. Same thing when I was in. What else did I do? I noticed it. So I think ginseng, for me personally, is definitely does something like with me mentally. Yeah, I think Trexmix said, I think that St. John's wort can have interactions with some psych medication. So just check that out first. Yeah, it might. I wasn't on meds at the time, so I don't know if that's what it is. But yeah, if you're taking medication, always make sure that there's supplements you're taking. You know, there's nothing out there that can kind of mess with them. Like you'll hear people say that vitamin C can mess with your ADHD medication. And I know that it can, but I think it's more like if you're drinking orange juice or the acidic property of juices and fruits with vitamin C is what messes with it. Not 100% sure, but I was taking vitamin C at one point, and then I was like, oh no, it's probably affecting my stuff. And then I researched, and I do believe that's what it was. Like vitamin C capsules were okay. It's the acidic properties of what those vitamins are usually in the juices and fruits is what can affect the medication. Green tea. Yeah, green tea is great for anything, really. The whole antioxidant thing. I love green tea. All kinds of stuff in here. But yeah, supplements. I'm trying to think of other ones that would be good. I don't know. That's really the only ones I do. I take my gummies. Oh, I take tart cherry capsules. What they call them? Tart cherry. It helps like with inflammation of the body and stuff like that. And the less inflammation you have, the less pains you have. And the less pains you have, the better you feel. And the better you feel, the better your brain works. I mean, think about it. If you have any type of pain in your body and you have ADHD, you tend to focus on that. Makes everything worse. So St. John's wort really helps with any type like aches and pains. I guess apparently it's been proven or compared to like ibuprofen in some ways, the inflammation property. So I don't know. Always good to try. Turmeric, yeah, that's another good one. My lovely lady has a whole thing of natural stuff she takes, and turmeric is in there. And I stopped taking that for a reason too. I can't remember what it was. It like gave me like a heartburn or something. There was something weird with it. Yeah, citrus. Matt Irvin says citrus interferes with a certain liver enzyme which prevents. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Because people were saying, "Oh, don't take the supplement," and then they were saying, "Well, no, it's the citrus property of those. The supplement should be okay." But always check with your doctor. Always look on the medication thing to make sure that there's nothing out there that's going to mess with it. Cool. Well, you know what? I've got to go because it is definitely the Cowboys' lunchtime, and I need to go give him his lunch before he comes down here and gives me the puppy dog eyes. It makes me feel bad because that's what he does. But you guys, thank you so much for joining me. Hope not boring. It's my biggest fear that people are just like, this guy's terrible. His other videos are so polished, and this guy's just a train wreck. But yes, Chex Mix. That is Sir Cowboy. That's actually the Chex Mix. That's the emoji that I use on my to-do list for anything cowboy related. Is that same exact dog. And I'm doing a video, I think probably here in a couple of weeks, about how to use emojis in task managers and stuff to easily differentiate tasks and things, split things up in manageable little sections. And what I do, I mean, my to-do list is all these emojis. See if I pull it up. It's not organized right yet because I haven't done any cleanup on my task manager, but usually I do. I don't know if you can see it. Did you see them on there? The little Christmas trees there, and then there's my medication thing. I use emojis like crazy for so many things. Plus searching everything. If you have ADHD, it's perfect. It's wonderful. I'll make one of these. I'll join. I love live streams. I like just getting in the chat and just watching people talk and say things and commenting, and usually I comment with just weird stuff and confuse people. Awesome. Patrick, I'll see you later. I'm going to watch some of your more movie videos today. I got a while before my Bengals play. And I just watched the recent that chapter video, so I now have some free time. Yeah, Patrick should do a live. That'd be cool. Yeah, Patrick, you got to do a live stream. Hi. It's one of my favorite things in videos is the Patrick hi. If you guys haven't seen Patrick's videos, make sure you subscribe to ADHD Patrick. It's always, he's got great stuff on there. I feature him in one of my videos too, somewhere. I can't remember which one it is, but Patrick's in there saying hi. Cool. Wait, guys, I got to go feed the cowboy. So I will do another live stream sometime next week. I don't want to do too many because I don't want people to be like, oh, this guy does too many live streams stuff, but I really enjoy doing them. And like I said, they're like therapeutic for me. So who knows? But I will be sure next time. If I hate telling people to click the subscribe and click the bell notification, but if you do that, whenever there's a live stream for any channel, like if you're subscribed and you click the bell, you'll know that they're doing a live stream. It's really the only reason I tell people to do it, because if not, you won't know. And for me, it's like, I don't think people really care if I'm doing a live stream, but if people do care, if you do care and you're like, I want to be part of that, that's how you do it. It's another distraction, which I don't want people to have in their life, but it's the way that it works. I just suggest that, you want to be a part of live stream, if you go into your subscription feed or into my video feed and look, I think it'll show up in there, or in your YouTube subscription feed, you'll see I'll start doing reminders for live streams like a few days in advance, and you'll see it in there and you can hit set reminder. That's one way to do it. I don't know. But you guys have a lot of fun. Enjoy your Saturdays. I'm hoping for a whole bunch of snow tonight. I'm just praying that the weather just goes, boop. If it shifts, literally just on the radar, just this, we're getting hammered with snow. And the last time we had this type of thing happen, we weren't supposed to get a lot of snow unless it barely shifted. It shifted and it got buried, and it was awesome. So cool. My wife is upset because I cut her off because this is live. But is it live? It is. Oh, and my live streams are always live. There are live streams out there that people put out as live streams that aren't live, if that makes sense. I don't know how they do it. I know Dotto Tech is a great channel. I love, followed him forever. And he does live streams where he does an interview with somebody and then he live streams it, but he's in the chat answering questions, which is cool because he can kind of present the information like a normal video, but asking people's questions, answering questions as it happens. It's pretty cool. But mine are always live, literally right now. Like if I held this up, see what time it is. 1:36 Saturday. So that's what time it is. I'm live. Yeah, I'm live. Cool. Vital, thank you. Vital, did you get my response to your thing about your medicine making you kind of want to pace around and anxious? I thought about that a bunch, and I remember it actually was just yesterday. I'd split my VYVANSE, and I tested out, and instead of doing like half or a third, I did almost 3/4, and I did the pacey thing, like where you're kind of walking around. And it's like you kind of got this. It's working for you, but you kind of got this go, 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 go. What I found out is that lasts. Get into the mentality. When that happens, it's going to pass after a certain amount of time. That's how mine does. So when it starts to happen, I just have to go, just calm down. It's going to do this just for a bit. We're okay. We got this. And then eventually it'll wear down and go on. So thank you. I love to give positive energy out there, Vital, because there's a lot of channels out there that give great information, topics, but there's also a lot of stuff out there on social media where I call it the woe is me ADHD, my life is terrible and stuff. And that's great because they're showing that other people, like I see that and I'm like, they suffered like I do. And for some reason, it always feels good when you see people that are miserable like yourself. Like You're a community, you know that. But I always think also that those people are suffering. I know they're suffering, and they're coming to me. I don't want to add on to their woeness. I want to take things and be like, hey, listen, this is terrible, but here's what we can do. Like, so it's all about positivity, and that's why at the end of my videos, there's always dancing. Somebody pointed out, it's like, if you ever had to have like a bad day after you just dance, like it's hard. So I add dancing at the end. That way I know whenever I make a video, no matter what it's about, at the end, it's got to end positive because there's got to be dancing. So I'm glad that you see the positivity in it. And in real life, I'm not really that positive, but when I'm talking to people, I'm like trying to get them to see that positivity. And I think it's wearing off on me now that I'm actually starting to see things more positive. So hope it works. But you guys, I got to go. The cowboy is waiting. So I will talk to you guys sometime soon. I'll put up another live stream because I really like it. Oh, I don't watch Boohoo channels. Yeah, Mike, I don't really watch those either. I'm telling I'm signing off, but of course I see that. But yeah, but I do understand. It's like I said, it's good for these people. It's an outlet for them, and it's good for other people who are suffering to see that and go, yeah, I'm not alone. Yeah, they're suffering like I am. But I want people to go, yeah, we're suffering, but maybe we wouldn't suffer as much if we did this instead. If you go back and watch my I also video or the like a lot of ADHD meme videos, the Mimi's Monday videos, I talk about stuff that is negative stuff about ADHD or whatever, but then try to see the positive aspect of that, which, like I said, makes it more fun for me. It forces me to have to be creative, and my brain loves coming up with creative things. So, cool. Yes, I am going to go tend to the cowboy, Mike. He's I can hear him upstairs right now. It's like that's it. Like he's looking for me. So I will talk to you guys later this week, hopefully, depending on my workload goes. Never know, it can change at any second. So I'll try to put up at least a day in advance when there's going to be a live stream, because this is way too much fun for me and therapeutic. Oh, there's the cowboy. I'll see you guys later. Bye.